Hey guys, it's Grant Balfour here, ex-pitcher of the Tampa Bay Rays, Oakland Athletics, Minnesota Twins, Milwaukee Brewers, Cincinnati Reds. I just wanted to say you're watching MattieC Sports for You and Me podcast. Enjoy the show. Mattie's got a lot of great things to talk about, wide range of sports. Get on there. Hope to see you guys soon on the show. All right, guys. Take care.
On this team, we fight for that itch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that itch.
Coming in at 320 kilobytes per second, it's time for MattieC Sports for you and me.
All right, everybody, MattieC Sports for you and me. I do have my Danbury Trashers shirt on, but this guy right here, he didn't just play for that team. He played for every possible single, solitary country, National Hockey League, OHL, NHL, AHL. Might as well just everything. And I'd like to welcome Rumun, Ndur, the Nigerian nightmare.
Yeah.
And how are you tonight, my friend?
No, man, I'm great. It's great to be with you, Mattie. I love to get into it right now, talk about old stories, talk about the good old days, and yeah, let's have some fun.
Awesome. So I wanted to start out. So I want to thank Brad Wingfield, aka Winger from Danbury, also teammate to Rumun. Cool dude, just like yourself. My interview with him's on here too, but enough about me.
Right.
So what got you started in hockey?
So it's just a good old fashioned Canadian story, I think. I mean, I shouldn't say Canadian story, but for me, hockey was just my first love. I was born in Nigeria, but I grew up in Canada. I grew up in Northern Ontario, and hockey was just everything that I ever wanted to do in my life. Everything I talked about in school, everything I drew as a kid, like doodling and when I wasn't paying attention in class, everything I did was about hockey, and that's just everything I have, everything I got now. I owe it all to the game, and I'm really grateful for it.
And that's awesome, man. And in the documentary, I know they don't tell every story about what your career was like, but I mean, you definitely showed that love from a young age to when you retired. You retired in 2009, right?
Yeah, it was 2009, 2010, around then. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, your accolades were up there. I mean, you won it's the Calder Cup in the AHL, right? Hello?
Must be my internet, man. I'm sorry. This must be my internet.
That's okay. All right. So we talk about, you started, you were in the OHL for a while and a lot of Canadian leagues before that. But I think your main thing was when you played for Rochester and you won the Calder Cup. What was it like winning that?
You know what? It was one of the greatest feelings of my hockey career. And I put it right up there with, making the NHL, playing with Wayne Gretzky. I think we'll talk about that later on. But, I wasn't kind of wasn't kind of picked to make it, like nobody would have said I would have made it when I was, 15 years old. So I worked my ass off to get there. And, when I got to Rochester, I did everything I could to stay in the lineup, did that, was in the lineup every night, got to play with, great seasoned pros like Dougie Huda, Dean Melanson, that really helped me a lot on the back end playing defense. It's a tough position to play, because you got so much responsibility on the back end. And when you're young, you make a lot of mistakes. You can get exposed. So I just got lucky. I think I worked hard, but I got lucky. I got to play with some great pros. I had John Tortorella as my coach. Everybody knows the stories about Torts. He pushed me to as hard as anyone could possibly do, and you know what? We came out champions. We were last place. I think we were second last place at Christmas that year. And you know what? Everybody we had a meeting. We had a sit down, and everybody just bought in. We rededicated the season at Christmas, and it paid off in the end with a Calder Cup.
I mean, to those jerseys, man, they were some funky stuff. But then you had those navy blue American jerseys. Those were nice. Those some nice jerseys. Oh, I'm sure you kept them over there.
Oh yeah, no, I got. We actually didn't get the American flag kind of ones that we wore that year. I think it was the 40th anniversary of the Amerks that year. So that was kind of our third jersey. But then everybody loved it. The fans loved it so much. We kind of adopted it. We just wore it all the time. But the navy blue road jerseys, man, that's the one I got still. So I love that jersey.
That's a beauty, man. That's a beauty.
Jersey.
Yeah.
For sure.
And and were they the affiliate for Buffalo at the time?
Yeah. We were Buffalo right up the road. So guys that get called up, it was just an hour ride up the road there to Buffalo. So it was a good arrangement. I think the previous 2 or 3 years before, I think it was always a Buffalo-Rochester relationship, but then for about 3 years it was Rochester, Florida, or something like that, something crazy like that. But the year I got back there, they switched it back to Buffalo, and so it made it easy that way.
So did you, at that time, you guys must have played like Providence, or did you play, what was Worcester at the time? Were they the Ice Cats at the time?
No, Worcester. I don't remember Worcester being in there, but Providence for sure, Albany, Binghamton, Syracuse, obviously. So yeah, I
Portland, right?
Sorry.
Oh no, you beat Portland. That's what it was.
Yeah, we beat Portland in the final, and I don't remember playing them during the regular season. It was a funny thing because there were so many teams. I think there was close to 30 teams in the American League, and because it's almost a strictly bus trip, league. We didn't play a lot of teams. I know we played a bunch of East Coast Canadian teams back then. Cape Breton, Newfoundland had a team. St. John's Flames had a team. PEI, I think they were the Senators. So they had a team. But I remember we took I think it was our only flight of the year was to East Coast of Canada to play all those teams there. But I don't even remember playing Portland during that year. It was a long time ago. I could be wrong, but we didn't we didn't see a lot of the teams. We were very local: Binghamton, Syracuse, Albany, all that. Hershey, we saw Hershey a lot. I remember Philly. So it was, AHL back then. That was a tough league. I guarantee it still is, but it was a tough grind.
Oh, well, I mean, you had 306 penalty minutes. I don't think anybody was messing with you too much. And then 282 after that. No, 282.
Yeah.
So when you got called up to Buffalo, what was that like, just to enter that atmosphere? Did you feel like the wind just I don't know how to say it. Like as a fan, when you come into arena like an hour before a game and it's like
that
you
energy,
smell the energy, and you smell the ice, even though like, it's not really, it might be a smell, but just that atmosphere and that, like, just, whoa, like I'm here. Like if I'm at a Bruins game, like that's what I do. I'm here. And I remember like not my ritual, but my thing is I would like jump up and down, not jump up and down, but just go like up, like PK Subban would do it. He would like just pump himself up, and that's what I would do.
Get
like,
going.
Is that how is that how you felt like when you first walked in?
You know what? It was, and I credit Buffalo with the way they developed the youngsters back then. And I guess I'm not at the NHL level anymore, so I don't know exactly what they do, but I got drafted by the Sabres 3rd round, 94. And immediately that summer I lived with, Matthew Barnaby and Rob Ray, So
what happened after that?
Yeah. So you know what? They just threw me into the fire. They were like, this is what we want you to be like, we envision you, helping the team like the way these guys do. So I had to learn like right off the bat. I was 18 years old, and I was learning the game through the off season from these guys, how we train, how we, prepare. And I have to say there was a few nights where it was, pretty much debauchery, and I got to see a lot of different sides of the game as well. But you know what? They prepared me, I think, in a great way. And when I got my first call up, I felt like I was one of the guys already. I had been in Rochester for a year, but I already felt like one of the guys. So I wasn't nervous. I wasn't as nervous as you'd expect. I was ready to go. I knew all the guys. I trained with them all summer for 2 summers before I finally got my official call up. I had played exhibition games, and that's fine enough. But when you play that first game, that first regular season game, and you're officially an NHLer, that was a great moment. But I think I was just prepared, just the way the culture that they created in Buffalo at the time.
That's really cool, man. I mean, I've never heard that in a different perspective. Like, just to be, and that sounds like a smart team decision, even though I don't know what their decision making is right now.
Yeah.
But just easing a player like yourself into the line to where, yes, you can come with us, or if you go back, to Rochester or something, that's okay too. Like I respect that in an organization, but it's like I don't know how it is in the game today, just because I see it as a fast-paced game, and also like a political game. Like
sorry, one sec here.
That's okay. All right. So as I was saying with the politics of hockey, back in the day, it was, you work hard, you skate hard. If you're an enforcer, back in the day, like, somebody as yourself, or, I compare like Chris Nyland or Darren McCarty or those guys, you guys have skill to play the game. But if a teammate needs you, such as, we were talking about Gretzky and stuff, nobody goes after the great one. So here you come, you're ready to go. But at the same time, you're giving them a crisp pass to score a goal, and some guys like they just don't have it. And, they get a little whiny, and, that's when it becomes a problem. They go into it as, oh, well, the coach doesn't like me, or like, I'm just going to use a random coach. Like, they say, oh, well, I'm going to bench you. Or, you're not playing well. I don't think you're going to fit. And then it turns into, this person either gets mad and it's a part of the game now. Like get over it type of thing. And then there's another sequence where, with junior hockey, which is a way more popular up there, no doubt about it. There's a couple junior teams down here, but not as popular. I mean, you guys up there could fill 6,000 seats, where down here it's maybe 1,500. I mean, who the fuck's going to watch a game in Indiana?
Yeah.
So,
it's a little different.
Do you think the game itself, and we can say the NHL, we can say the AHL, but not so much. But I mean, like where your mom is still driving you to the game, like, or your dad, like, do you feel like that part of the game is getting soft? Like the parents don't even know what they're talking about anymore?
Yeah, you know what? It's such a good question, because where do we draw the line? Where I grew up in a certain way, and a lot of us grew up in a certain way, watching the game and enjoying the game. And the game is different. Okay. So the game is not the same. And we have to accept that. And as a coach, I've accepted that. I don't expect my players to fight, because there's no fighting anymore, but I expect them to play hard. I expect them to listen, and do the things that I'm seeing that I think I can, import to them, to help them to win the game, to be a better player, to be a better person. And those are the things that I don't understand. They're every parent and it's not even just the parents, it's the owners of teams. They think they know it all, and they've never played anywhere. And that's just the thing that I just don't understand. There's so much that's changed in the game, and it's changed in society. Everything's different. So you have to accept that. And like I said, I've accepted those things. But if you show up to practice, if you make the team, then you show up to work hard, and you're committed to that 2 hours that I got you for practice or a game, to buy in, to listen, to buy in, and to do the things you're told. And I find that nowadays every kid has his own agenda, and it's like, well, why are we doing this? And that's not how I used to do it. I never used to say things like that to coaches, and I hear it from kids all the time. So it's a strange thing. It's you got to learn to adapt, but it's tough. It's tough for me, I think, in a lot of ways.
Well, I'm just going to go from my experience, and, I'm no NHL guy. I'm no, but when I was playing myself, it's not just one aspect where you go out and play the game. It's not like that. I don't care about now or the time before. You need to learn certain basics. You need to learn crossovers. You need to go backwards crossovers. You need red line to blue line to red line, and, go to, what we called down here when I used to play was power skating. So that was an hour or two with other kids from other teams, and you would just go at it. You would just skate, and it's a changing game where kids do not want to take the extra effort. Like, you want to make a higher level in this game, you need to go to these things, and coaches do see that. And these kids just think, oh, well, I'm going to put on a brand new pair of skates. I mean, these kids are lucky. I was playing with a wooden stick, and I loved it because it was a Paul Coffey shearwood stick, and I would use the torch to curve it my way, and then I got a penalty in one game because I curved it too much.
Curve was that used to happen a lot back in the day.
But I just don't agree, just because, like, when I was playing too, we played a game against another team, and a teammate of mine cross-checked into the boards pretty hard. And I thought he snapped snapped his neck or really injured him hard.
Was hurt.
So I took that kid, took him by his neck and threw him onto the ground and just threw down, because it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if my teammate was.
That's your teammate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw your
so,
yeah.
Like, this is not what happens anymore in NHL. And you know what? I still think the aspect of the old NHL is still alive in the AHL because they're hungry. They're playing every game like it's playoff hockey. Honestly,
Right.
I think that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And junior league, Quebec league, stuff like that, they're doing it. So, and my other thing was parents sometimes ruin the game. My kid's not getting enough skating time. An opposing team doesn't like how they hit your son or your daughter because girls also play hockey too. So, I mean, this is just a thing that, is another side of hockey, and it can be detrimental to the game. So, I mean, I know you agree with me with that. And it's not just because do you consider yourself an enforcer back in the day? I mean.
Yeah, for sure I did. That's how I made, the NHL. And even I would say going back to the OHL, that's how I made, my stripes. And like you said all the right things. And I just want to say, just to like a caution is that I think we understand that the game has changed. So,
yes,
but we can still have a little bit of the old style game, Like I recently was coaching. I was assistant coach of a junior B team here in Canada, in Ontario. And we weren't having a particularly good game, and I benched the kid. I sat him down. Wasn't even the old school benching where like you're not going on the ice anymore. I took away certain shifts of his, and he had, I think he had 3 or 4 shifts in the third period. This is a game we won 6-3. Okay, we won the game, and the next day I got fired because the kid and his mother said, no, that's just uncalled for. That he sat, and he's having mental health issues. Now, if you're having mental health issues, I don't want to be the cause of that. So
right.
If that is the problem, then I don't know. Like you can't say that he was having mental health issues, and the only problem is you got to get rid of the defensive coach. That's it. Like you got to get rid of the assistant coach. Now he's totally fine. Like, are you serious? Like my son, and I'll relate this to my son who's playing Division I basketball at Brown University. And, and he barely played this year. He didn't play a lot at all. And I had higher expectations. He had higher expectations to play more. But at no point did I say to him, you know what, go to the dean of the school or whoever and say, you're having mental health issues now, and so you can play more. I told him to get your ass in gear. There's something that you're not doing that the coach doesn't like, and that's why he's not putting you out there. So you got to go to another level. You got to dig deep. You got to get your ass in gear. And at no point did I think this is the coach hates the kid, my kid.
Mm-hmm.
I said, get going. There's a reason why I trust a coach 100%. He's there to win. Like I was there to win whenever I coach. I'm gonna play the kids that I think are gonna win the game for me. So is there communication issues sometimes? I guess there are. Maybe there are. Maybe the kid's not hearing the teaching that I'm giving them the same way. There's all sorts of things like that. But I mean, it's just in general, everything is so soft. Every kid, want the easy way out. And I wish it wasn't like that, you know?
Well, my thing, honestly, is, a coach will help you with those things. They will help you with the mental health issues. And,
Sure.
I've had them myself, but, I'm not going to say, well, I can't work because of something like that. Or, you deal with it, or you get some help, or whatever the case may be. We have one of the best NHL players, like Carey Price, had mental health issues, went to go get help. You had Robin Leonard, who admitted it, that he had mental health, and he said, it doesn't define me. So if he was having a bad game, I don't think his coach would go, hey, start moving, get your ass in gear. He would tell the coach or whatever in a more respectable kind of way. Now, I myself think in that sense, you do not play that card to a coach, to your team, because to your team, then it's like, well, coach, is it okay if I say you're not playing well? That's just the wrong way to look at it. And I'm totally on your side with that. I mean, you can't play that. That's like playing other cards,
It's and you know what? I cannot remember the coach. It was a basketball coach, and it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was going on about he was coaching a woman's D1 school, and something was going on with one of his players, and she was complaining, and you know what he said? He said, don't look at the player, look at the adults, and that's what I take away from this situation. Look at the adults that allowed a kid to say, because he didn't play much in a game, that he basically said to the owners, I don't want to play for this coach. And the owners said, okay, that's crazy to me. That is outrageous. I'm actually embarrassed to say that I was employed by this team now, just because that is not the way to go through things, If there was a problem, which, I never sensed a problem. He wasn't the only player that I ever benched. This happens, through a season multiple times. You sit a guy down who's not having a good night, and it's not, like I said, it wasn't even like I said, sit your ass down, you're not going back on the ice. I just picked the right spots for him to be on the ice where I thought we were going to have a better chance to win, and that wasn't good enough for them, because everything has to be perfect, and everybody has to play the same, which is never the case. But like I said, you look at the parents, you look at the adults who let that happen, and it's incredible.
So I will tell you right now that it kind of boils me up now, because for me, honestly, is that you had that happen to you, and I do apologize that did happen to you, but I don't even give a shit that we were in two different eras of hockey. Okay. Yeah. Benched means sit down. You're out for the game. Sit the hell down.
Yeah.
Where now it's like, okay, you're not playing this shift, but you're going to play the second one. Okay. And what the fuck? That is a soft era of hockey. Now, my era is from the 90s to the mid 2000s. Yours is 90s to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the era. It doesn't matter the era. You got benched, you got fucking benched. If not, you now it's like that.
It's
soft.
crazy.
Soft. That's a great word for it.
I told you earlier, I played under John Tortorella. I'm proud to say that I could take everything that he was telling me, and he didn't say it, real gently and calmly. Like sometimes he was screaming at you.
I would think. I would think so.
It was teaching. I I didn't take it as a personal attack on me. He wasn't personally attacking me. That was his way of teaching. Now, look, listen, it might not be the best way. And I don't know, maybe if you talk to John now and he would say, maybe I should change a little bit, or maybe I should, speak differently in certain situations. But like, he got results out of guys. We won a Calder Cup. He's won Stanley Cups. He's coached in the NHL for years. He's a successful guy who wants the best, who's trying to win. He's trying to teach you, So I just go back to my own life and the way I try, and teach my own kids. My 16-year-old daughter has more character than some of the guys that I coach now, and she gets yelled at. Her volleyball coach yells at her sometimes, and like, it's you get on with it,
Right? No shit. Yeah.
Personal attack.
And that's what's funny to me. And like, now that I hear that about your son playing at Brown, and congratulations with that. That is a fucking Ivy League school.
Yeah.
Never mind the basketball.
Yeah.
To get into an Ivy League school is like coming from a shit bum team to like, I don't know, the Boston Bruins, because the Bruins are the best.
Oh, that's your club, man. Yeah, of course.
But I mean, but like you said, your son's not complaining. It's I mean, it's hard sometimes, but he's in there.
Yeah,
he's in that team.
I say he's not complaining. He is complaining, but he's channeling it. Like, he's not happy. He's not sitting there going, oh, whatever. And like you said, he's at an Ivy League school. I had a long, hard talk with him after the season's done. I was thinking, I don't know if you know much about, Division I college athletics now, how, the transfer portal and,
is he trying to transfer?
No. I actually brought it up to him. I said, how the rules are now. We can go wherever we want. I'm sure we can find another school for you. And he said, no, this is my school. This is a team that gave me a scholarship, Ivy League school. And, I wasn't forcing him to leave. I just said, let's look at our options. And he said, no, this is where I'm going to be. This is the school that gave me an opportunity to play D1 college basketball. So he's not looking at it like it's the end of the world. He's saying, I got to get better. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to get better this summer. And then he's going to go in there next year and hopefully he's going to, go lights out. So I just think there's ways that you can, if you impart on your kids, certain values, they'll be fine. They'll get through, the hard times in their lives. But if you let them have the easy way out, they're going to take it. And that's what happens far too often,
And I have my 3-year-old daughter, and, I talk about, let's play this sport. Or we talk about watching a sport, and she goes, no, I only like hockey. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. That's right on.
So, we as parents can be the role models, and if they don't want to play hockey, then they don't want to play hockey. But don't let your ego determine how your kid's going to play, because they might resent you at some point.
Exactly. And I just think, don't let them take the easy way out. Don't give them the easy way out. They're not going to get that easy way out the rest of their lives. When they go for the job interview or the, whatever it is, the tryout, they're not going to make it. They're not going to get exactly what they want. Don't give them the easy way out every single time. We love our kids. We always think our kids should play more and do all that. I understand it. But you know what? I think a coach and an organization, they generally know what they're doing, so
yeah.
So let them do their thing and tell your kid to listen to the coach, and he'll get better. He'll be better for it.
And that's great, man. And that I respect that. So like you're definitely a good man for your kids for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man.
But for you, I mean, you went along and you played for Buffalo. You had a lot of years with a big year with the Rangers. So
Yep.
and you said you played with the great one, which
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, shit, 99. Like, where is he? It wouldn't be
Yeah.
hard to find 99, but like, what was it like playing with him? I feel like he'd have a quote for like everything he said, like the grass is green, and it would be like the grass is green, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. No. You know what? It was great. Because and I'm sure American kids and you in the Northeast there, like you must have respected Gretzky growing up. You probably didn't love him like we did in Canada, but you respected his game. And just for just for a Canadian kid, just to like Wayne Gretzky was he was more than like a superstar for us. It was like religious. It was incredible. And I've told this story before where when I was 8 or 9 years old, like the only nights I could stay up late during the week was when the Oilers were in the playoffs, because they were West Coast and we were in Ontario. So their game started kind of 9:30 Eastern, and my dad would let me stay up. He was like, I want you to watch this. I want you to watch this greatness, because I don't want to deprive you of that. So I got to watch these games till whatever it was, 12:30, and just that whole thing about just being around him, and I really, really tried everything I could to just soak up as much as I could from him. Like I found out he would get to the rink a little early for practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the rink like 5 minutes before him, and I made sure I set my alarm early. I got to the rink early. We used to have this it was like a breakfast buffet or something put out for us at our practice facility in Rye, New York. And I would be there. I'd make sure I was there, and I would be like, Gretz, what do you want today? Like, what kind of coffee do you want? What kind of muffin do you want? Like, I had everything set up for him. It was just like, I was around Wayne Gretzky, and we'd sit there and watch Sports Center in the morning before anybody got there. It was just me and him. It was just, man, it was just an incredible moment of my life, to play with him.
That must have been, I can't, like, for us in Boston, it would be like, and I got to meet like one of my idols, Patrice Bergeron. He's a hell of a guy too. Yeah. And, the god over here is Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
And,
Number 4, Bobby Orr.
I could only, watch video of it. Some people got to experience it, and, just like Gretzky. I mean, Gretzky was more, I mean, I had an old school, like, Kings jersey, like Gretzky, and, getting to see that side of Gretzky. But there was an Edmonton Gretzky that was just unbelievable.
That was the one that just became iconic, and like, listen, every iteration of Gretz where he played, St. Louis, LA, the Rangers, he just, he changed the game in so many ways. And it's just, I don't know. It's, I get chills just thinking about it. It's not even a fantasy. It's like,
you did it.
Yeah.
You experienced it.
It's crazy to me. I'm so proud,
That's, dude, I'd be starstruck if I saw Wayne Gretzky, man. I mean, man, like, if you're a hockey fan, you have to know Bobby Orr. You kind of need to know Gordie Howe. You need to know Rocket Richard. You need to know his brother.
Sure.
And like nowadays, it's like, ooh, Alex Ovechkin. Ooh, Sidney Crosby. Ooh, I love Alex Ovechkin, but a lot of people don't like Crosby, and it's just
Yeah.
that's the biggest softie in the NHL. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's and it's changed. It's changed. Like I said, we talked about this earlier. It's different, and I still I listen, I think Ovechkin is probably the greatest goal scorer to ever play the game. I think he's a better goal scorer than Wayne was. And it's funny, Wayne wasn't really a goal scorer, but he was
Assist
just
machine.
Yeah, it was just so amazing. He scored 90 goals one year. Like, it's just crazy.
What
But
they
I
call
think
it? Was it Gretzky's office was in the back behind the net?
Back of the net, just setting up shop that back there. It was amazing, But yeah, like, Connor McDavid now, they're changing the game. They're changing
he's dirty.
the game for the better. And they're so talented. Guys like myself and we came up in an era where there was, 3 or 4 tough guys on every team, so skill development wasn't a big thing. Now it's about skill development. I wish there was a little more grittiness in the game. I honestly do. I don't necessarily mean fighting. I don't think, if I don't want kids to go through the anxiety that I had to. And I know a lot of guys, I've spoken to a lot of guys that used to play my role, and the anxiety and the anxiousness that you go through every day. It's tough, man. It's not an easy thing to do to get ready to fight every game, and if they don't have to do that, then I'm fine. But you can play hard, you can play hard. You can still get into bodies and play hard, play physical. And that's what I wish was more, prevalent in the game.
Well, that's the thing too, is, there's certain type of hits that I appreciate. Like, I don't like a Matt Cook going after David Savard, Mark Savard. And I don't like and I mean, Paul Correa getting hit by Scott Stevens, jumping out of his skates, for God's sakes. That ruined the game of hockey for Paul Correa. He never made appearances for a select few things, and I feel bad for that. And
I do too.
And guys like you guys were tough as fuck in that era. Like, seeing Colorado play Detroit. Detroit was a big team for me in the mid 90s. McCarty, Yzerman, Fedorov. I'm like, I wonder why they won so many damn cups in the Russian 5. And then the game changed probably around. I think it was after 2013. It completely changed. Enforcers were leaving. Fighting was leaving. Like. Now it's like a part-time thing, but I mean, with you, did you feel it was changed in a different way? I feel like in 2000, like when you went to Atlanta, like I feel like it was still pretty physical at that time.
Oh no, it was so rock'em sock'em. And
no, that's what I mean. It was still stage fighting and you know what? I grew up in that era, so I was fine with it. But I can see how people are not, like people were turned off with like just 2 guys just randomly fighting off a face-off. But that's how it was, It was just that was our deal back then, and that was just the way sometimes it goes, You wanted to test your, machismo against another guy. And you wanted to maybe fire up your team, maybe we were down 2. But I understand how if a fight happened organically through a battle in front of the net or a battle in the corner, that's more, with the flow of the game. And I understand that. But, when we were playing, that's how it happened. We lined up. It was like an agreement. It wasn't staged. It wasn't like a fake fight. Like we were throwing bombs to try and knock each other's heads off. But it was weird for people to see just 2 guys just start fighting off a face-off. But that's just the way the era went. And like I said, like if that's gone, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I am fine with that. That like I said, it took a lot of like
anxiousness in me to get ready for all those fights and all those moments. But just play hard, just give it everything you got on the ice. If a guy skates through you, like, give him a cross check, just be a little nasty sometimes. And that's where I think the game is it's just completely gone.
It is. And it's a shame to see, but at the same time, it's like, you're ruining a lot of careers for kids who can bang. They can hit hard. Like Alex Ovechkin, I will say, he can bang. Like, he can annihilate somebody, and he just doesn't. But if he gets pissed off enough, he will.
Yeah,
but,
No, when he was younger, he used to do a lot more of that. He was a physical player. Like, if you go watch some of his clips in his first, 5-6 years, that's how he played. He scored 50, but he'd get 4 or 5 big hits every night. So it was, he played the game right.
And he's like an artist. All he has to do is set up at the fucking face-off circle and blast one in across the ice. Isn't that so crazy? Easy for him. Yeah, nobody can stop him. It's like, you've seen 500 goals now. Can you stop that shit?
He's probably scored 250 goals from that spot. And
exact same spot.
He can't stop him. It's incredible. I mean, it just speaks to his talent, though. I think that he can actually keep doing that, and everybody knows it's coming, and he can still find a way to make it happen. So
exactly. So my big thing now, the Danbury Trashers.
Yeah.
How was it? How was that whole experience in Danbury?
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy. I think everybody that's gonna, listen to this, watch this, is gonna maybe have seen the Netflix doc. It was just a crazy experience, getting a call in the middle of the summer from Jimmy Galante, just like what is going on here? Is this for real? I'm asking, like, who else is signed, blah, blah, blah. I got to talk to these guys. So I'm calling Winger. I've never even spoken to Winger before. I'm calling Winger out in BC. He's like, yeah, I'm doing it, man. I think I'm going to do it. We're like, let's do this thing. So it was crazy. Like, it was a whirlwind. It was, honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do that summer. And then all of a sudden I'm getting these offers from Danbury. And it was like, we want you to come in and play your style and just have some fun. And this guy's signing, that guy's signing. It got to a point where I was like, I don't want to miss out on the fun, man. I gotta sign. This is crazy. So it was just an amazing year for me, just to see the warmth that the Galantes gave us all.
I was going to ask how AJ was.
Yeah, AJ came in and he was so young. Like the funny thing about it is, like, AJ he's just killing it right now. But that's how he was back then. Like, he was doing that.
I know.
Like, it was crazy. So I got a lot of respect for him. I got so much respect for the family. What Jimmy did for all of us, for the community. I think it's a dark, there's just staying there, obviously, with with lifestyle stuff. But listen, he cared. He cared. He took care of us, and I thank him so much for all of that.
Well, it's funny that you say AJ. I probably have a thread that's going from here to here. When do you want to interview AJ? I'm busy. Can we get it in the middle of the month? And I'm like, I respect that. And then I was like, I got to try to get Brad Wingfield. And somehow I did. And then I was like, oh man, this guy is cool as hell. And then I was like, you got to get me Rumun in. And I was like, oh man, it's awesome. Like, you both are class acts, man. And, I'm glad you guys got to connect through Danbury. I mean, Danbury is probably like a 2-hour drive or so down there.
Okay. Yeah. From you mean?
Yeah, from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, with all that, from Danbury, you go to Kalamazoo the next season. Now, the
Yeah.
year before, when you played on the Trashers, your friend Brad got a serious leg injury, and I probably wouldn't want to hear the screams of that, and I'm sure that was pretty crazy when you were there. But the next season, he goes after Josh Ilzinga, who was the one who pulled him back and took him by the back of his skate.
Yeah.
And like, how did you feel? Because fucking, because Brad just cross-checked him and then just went at it. And
well, yeah, it was a serious talk that I had to have with Josh, and you know what it was? It was like, you need to take your medicine. You know, whatever it's going to happen, you know, you need to drop your gloves and you need to go toe to toe with the guy that he slew-footed. That's a dirty play. You know, that's a greasy, dirty play. And that's, you know, it's just, you know, everything that happened after that was awful. And the things that I did, you know, I got a 30-game suspension. It was a 25-game suspension after that Slewfoot incident. You know, I tried to jump into the bench. I went mental. And
oh yeah, I saw.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then the next year I'm playing with Kalamazoo and Josh is there, and we're going into Danbury, and the talk was like, should we take Josh, or should we just leave him at home and just kill the thing, like just kill it, you know, don't even give them any fire, talking about Danbury now. And you know what I said? And we all talked about it as a team, like, you got to go in there and you got to own it. You got to own up to what you did. And you broke a guy's leg, you know, like you have to remember that that's a dirty play, you know,
that's somebody's career.
It's not like a fluky kind of accidental thing. Like, that's a slew foot. That's a dirty play. They're trying to legislate that kind of thing out of the game. You know, a lot of guys were doing it back then. So, you know, he had to go in there and take his medicine. And I said to Josh, you got to go toe to toe with him one time. That's it. Okay. If it happens again, I'm jumping in there, and me and Brad are going to go. Like, so I said to him, like, I'm not going to jump in there on this first time. You got to deal with what you did. And you know what? I credit to him. He stood in there as Winger just filled him full of lefts and rights. And you know what? I think it was good on him. Good on him for doing it. You know, I know a lot of guys wouldn't have done that. You know, Winger had a fierce reputation back then. You know, and that's a tough guy. You know, he throws both hands and he throws bombs. So good for Josh. You know, I think everybody got, you know, what they wanted. And after that, it was fine. I think there was a few more fights in the game, but you know what? They got to deal with what happened, and we move on. You know, that's how the game goes. I think if guys showed a lot of respect for Josh then, because he stood up for the, you know, the dirty play that he did.
See, that's the stuff in the documentary you'll never know until you actually speak to the people who were there.
Yeah, it was all in there. Like, I remember talking about this in the doc, but it didn't make the cut, you know, for whatever reason, it just didn't make the cut. But I remember going through all of that, like saying these exact words, like he had to deal with it. You know, he had to go in there and face up to what he did, and credit to him. He did it, you know?
And it's funny because, like, I'm looking at, like, the documentary and I'm like, they have fucking white and blue jerseys and it always looks like they're at home. And I said that to Brad, and he's like, well, we did have away games. I was like, well, half documentary is looking like you're at home, but you change your jerseys all the time. He's like, well, they didn't usually go on road trips like AJ and like all that stuff.
Yeah. I think it was mostly in Danbury, because I don't remember a film crew. I don't think like, if back then it was crazy back then what we were doing and what the Galantes were doing, but I don't think like people were paying as much attention, because I don't know what year was that? Do you remember? I can't even
2004.
It was 2004. The doc
2004.
just came out, like last year. That's crazy to think like all these years. I remember my buddies back here were like, you don't even talk about those years anymore. Like we never heard any
I would have
like, yeah,
I would have
right.
never known.
Yeah.
I would have never known until now.
Yeah.
No,
Like it's just blown up. It's crazy. But yeah, it was a funny thing how like if people would have known how crazy it actually was, there would have been a lot more press at the time,
Well, and the better thing about that is you continued your career and you played across the pond, as they say.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, no, I got to go over to a couple of places in Europe, and I settled kind of in England for 3 or 4 years. But you know what? I just wanted to keep playing, and I got the opportunity to go over to Europe and keep playing the game that I love. It wasn't the same, but you know what? Like I said, I was getting older and the fighting was harder to get up for every time, so, I didn't have to do it as much, but there was still like when I played in England, I think it was a 14 or 15 import rule, 15 player import rule. And they were all Canadians and they loved fighting over there. So I was still battling over in England. I was
Jesus.
and going crazy, but you know what? It was less games, almost like equal money, like, or better money. So you know what? I kind of went over there. My son was into soccer at the time. So he was playing in great leagues over in England. So, you know what? It was great because I got to see different parts of the world and keep playing the game that I love. So it was, I embraced it all.
So, Rumun, what is it in it for you now? Like, what's your future stuff looking ahead for you?
Yeah, so I'm just coaching. I'm really into my coaching right now. We spoke earlier about the unfortunate business that I had to deal with this past year. But you know what? Those kind of moments, I think they're gonna make me stronger. They're gonna make me better. And I already have a team for next year, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see, where the future goes, where it like takes me. I want to go as high as I can. I love coaching. I love the game. Like regardless of anything, I love the game, and that's why I keep sticking around the game. So wherever it takes me, I'm happily to go along.
And this is another thing. Did you really punch somebody so hard that you heard their that you felt their teeth when you punched them?
Oh yeah. I think his name was Trevor Sen. And this guy's just a little guy. This guy's got fucking balls, man. Like he'll fight anyone. And I just teed off on him. And I remember the feeling, because this was I had fought this guy previously, I think in the American League. So we were fighting again back when I was in Danbury. I can't remember where he was. I think it was in Adirondack, but I can't remember. But anyway, I hit one of those flush bombs where you just feel like the cheekbone, and you feel like, and I could feel his teeth like through my fist. So it was one of those ones you hit him flush and you're happy because he goes down and then that's it,
Well, I have to say that's badass. And Roman, I am happy for you with the trying to get after coaching, and maybe you'll be the next Torts and I'll see you on NHL on the fly. Well, it'll be, what would it be? Hockey night in Canada for you guys, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to get the stream for Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah. So I wish you nothing but luck on that, and I definitely would like to have you on the show again for sure.
That's awesome.
And probably try to get Winger too.
Yeah.
I'll negotiate a contract with him when he comes down here.
Sounds good. Awesome, Matty. You know what? I really appreciate it. I really appreciate going through everything with you today. That was good. I was glad I could get some things off my chest, and this is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
really.
I appreciate it too, man. And where did you get the name The Nigerian Nightmare? I'm sorry, that was a main question. I just forgot until the end.
Well, that was Christian Okoye. So he was a football player. I don't know if you remember him. Kansas City Chiefs.
No.
And so he was the original Nigerian Nightmare. His guy was huge. If you remember, I don't know if like people like when they listen to this, go and Google Christian Okoye, Kansas City running back. This guy was fucking huge. So I got the nickname when I was in Roch because I was born in Nigeria, and it just kind of stuck, you know, and we just went from there with it, you know.
Well, I'm definitely gonna keep that there for sure. I'm gonna get your name famous up in here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But again, thank you so much for being on the show, man, and hopefully can talk after the show. But thank you so much, brother.
Hey, awesome. Thanks again, Matty. This was great.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching MattieC Sports for you and me. Make sure to follow Matty Cameron on Twitter at MattCameron23, or follow him on Instagram at MattieC23, or subscribe to his YouTube channel, MattieC Sports for you and me. Once again, thanks for watching.